AINYF family, Yankee Jeff. It's not your fault. Thanks for tuning into my Recovering Enabling channel. I do appreciate everyone that's subscribed so far. You guys have been amazing. Talking a little bit tonight about something called perception versus reality. And there is a difference. I'm going to tell you guys a story. I'm going to tell you a little bit about a story that happened to me individually. And this is something that happened back in the early 70s, mid 70s, around 75, 77. And grandfather and I went to Central Park in New York to go look at some of the artwork and things of that nature. My grandfather had business in Manhattan. We were walking around. I think I was probably about 9 years old at the time. Came across some street artists out there making artwork in the park. And they were selling them, of course, and trying to make a living. My grandfather and I walked up to this one gentleman who was making this, I thought, very attractive painting of a seascape. My grandfather was never one much to hold back his feelings on things. Big man, around 6'5", 6'6", 300 pounds, fedora, trench coat, the whole thing. He was approached by the artist and asked what he thought. My grandfather, being a man of many words, said, "It's a hunk of crap." I was stunned, of course, but grandpa being grandpa, I just kind of rubbed it off, passed it off as being grandpa. And the artist kind of smiled and shook his head and was like, okay, well, that was it. And we walked on. So fast forward to around 1986, 87, and I'm in the Navy and I'm visiting Boston, Massachusetts. They had a bunch of tall ships there and my ship was in port and et cetera. And some USO people took us back to this hall. We all ate together and it was kind of fun. Over the top of the fireplace of the main hall was this painting. And I remember it so vividly because I was like, that's the picture that grandpa made that horrible comment about. So when everyone else was kind of like, having drinks and kind of milling around a little bit, I kind of snuck the picture off of the wall and looked at the back of it. And then the back of the painting was the name of the artist. I won't say who it was. I guess a lot of times on paintings, if you don't actually title a painting until later on, a lot of times you'll paint something and not title it till later on. I think it said as yet untitled. So YU, I think is what it said. But that was crossed out, and next to it was written a hunk of crap. So I couldn't stop laughing to myself, realizing the fact that this artist was not going to let someone else's perception become his reality. And that's basically what I'm trying to get to here, is the fact that we should never let someone else's perception of you dictate what the reality actually is. Your loved one who's suffering from addiction, the disease is there. They're being held in the throes of addiction. They are not a despot. They are not a terrible human being. They are not some downtrodden scum of the earth, like so many movies and TV shows trying to portray people that suffer from addiction. They're still in there. Your loved one is still there, okay? Don't let their addiction change the reality of the fact that, and the world's perception of their addiction, change the reality of the fact that they are human beings made in God's image. They're still in there. They're capable of love. They're capable of kindness, even though they may not show it right now. They're capable of being saved. And saved, I mean broken from the addiction. It's all possible. But we can never label our loved ones suffering from addiction as being nothing but the addiction. Nothing but this is all they're ever going to be, because we don't have the right to label anybody of anything. And just because we label somebody something does not make that what it actually is. Abraham Lincoln was famously quoted as saying, if you call the dog's tail a leg, how many legs does his dog have? The answer is 4. Just calling a dog's tail a leg doesn't make it a leg. Just calling your loved one a piece of garbage or broken or irredeemable doesn't make that so, okay? A lot of times we say these things out of anger, out of sadness, out of guilt, but none of that's true. The only thing that makes somebody what they are is who they are and what they think they are. That doesn't mean I can become a cat if I want to be a cat. Okay, what I'm saying is someone's opinion of me does not change who I am inside. If someone says to me that I'm worthless or I'm incompetent, if I know I'm not those things, then I'm not going to be those things. Okay, my perception of myself is my own reality, right? So what you want to get into habit of doing is, if you see a situation where your loved ones, not the one being suffering from addiction, but if your other loved ones in your family, hopefully you're not doing this, but if other loved ones in your family, say brothers, sisters, sons, daughters, spouses, if they point a finger at your loved ones suffering from addiction and say, they're a piece of garbage. If I were you, I'd get rid of them. Or if I were you, I'd do this. Or if I were you, I'd do that. Well, you're not me. So first of all, zip it. Second of all, your opinion of my loved one doesn't change the fact that my loved one is my loved one. And nothing you say, do, or perceive is going to change that. My loved one is my loved one, and nothing can change that. And just because they're suffering from addiction should not change. No, let's backtrack. Does that mean you have to love their addiction because you love them? No. You're allowed not to like people that you love. Okay. So if they're suffering from addiction, it's okay not to like them very much. It's okay not to love their addiction, but they're still in there. They're still in there, and keep that love going. Because I'll be honest with you, it's probably the only thing that's keeping them alive is that invisible love that you pray for them every day and you feel to them. I hope that makes sense. Perception is not reality. Okay, it is not reality. Reality is reality. Just because I love cats, I can become a cat. Just because I wish I was 100 pounds lighter does not mean I'm 100 pounds lighter. Just because I wish I had a full head of hair does not mean I got a full head of hair. These are all things that we have to keep in mind. Perception does not equate to reality. That artist in Central Park was not going to let my grandfather's snobbiness come across as his reality. He laughingly and sarcastically named his painting after that because of the fact that it didn't matter to him. His reality was his beautiful painting. Obviously, it must have been somebody else's must appreciate it because it went from New York City up to Boston and it was hanging over somebody's fireplace on their mantle. So don't ever let someone's perception of you change the reality of who you actually are, because no one's opinion matters to you except your opinion. You have loved ones around you that may, get mad at you or may be disappointed in you, things of that nature, but only you can control your emotions. Don't let others control your emotions, right? Because again, that's just not fair. It's not right. It's so easily manipulated on people all the time. Don't let other people's perception of you change the reality of the fact that you're a good person. So that being said, keep coming back. It works if you work it. Let it begin with you and say a prayer for the prayerless. You know what? Turn the other cheek. If someone says something negative about you or their perception of you is negative, turn the other cheek. Pray for them. Okay? Pray for those people that don't really know you very well, or think they know you and just spread gobbledygook about you. Okay, guys? God bless you all. Leave me a comment. Bleep, bloop it down in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe, the beep, the bop, the bop, the beep, the boop, all those things, because this content has to get pushed out to people that really need it, like you. Okay?